I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the
Tank. I
tank.
am the tank. Big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today, I have one of my most original guests to be interviewed, the lovely and talented DogfacedPearl. Pearl, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thank you for that. That was so sweet. Wow. I have my water. Check it out. It's Golden Girls.
Very nice.
Hey, Julie.
All right. All right. So the first question is always the same. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
Well, actually, it was during the TikTok ban, the first time it was talking about being banned. My friend Gina, Groomer Barbera, is on here, and she was saying, well, I've been on Clapper. It's really fun and nice, and maybe you'll do well there too. And so I checked it out, and I immediately thought it was really, I immediately saw some interesting things about it that were different than TikTok, because on TikTok, with the ban looming, we still don't know what's going to happen. They were restricting people, and I started getting restricted from the FYP. And so I came on to Clapper, and I met a lot of people immediately. I mean, there were glitches, and you can't really make a video on here very well, but that's okay. The first week, the very first thing that I noticed was the Mad Hatter challenge.
Right.
And
That was fun.
yeah, and you don't even know, maybe, but I collect Alice in Wonderland stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a total Alice in Wonderland fanatic. Every year in July, I do an Alice in Wonderland puzzle-a-thon. But anyway, and so I was like, wow, this is cool. And then all the groups and everything, and I met a lot of really lovely people. But also, my views were really amazing compared to on Clapper. On TT. And,
Right. Welcome in, Frank.
Oh, hey. Hey, everyone.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's important to say something to the people that are in the room. So,
Right. I try to greet people as they come in, but I try to not interrupt my guests while I'm doing it. I guess we can just set into the questions. Paul is coming out hot. He wants to know who you first met on here and who are you still friends with, and are you still friends with them?
Oh, okay. Well, partly because of new to Clapper, I met Robin, and then, but also, who else? Oh, Legia.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Another one was Myolass, and she's not on here anymore, but she's on Waveful, and she's really great on there. But I also met, Nizzy. His group is hard to keep up with. It's a little wild. But it's fun. And then there was a small little groupling of us that I got to know. Etta, Phil Hahn, um, and Tim Lazenby. And I'm still friends with them as well. But I've gotten to know so many people. I have this thing with social media where I immediately become friends with people.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't have a lot of friends when I was growing up. It sounds weird.
No, I understand it. Look, if it wasn't for primarily Clapper, but social media in general, but primarily Clapper, this is how I socialize. I don't get out of my house very often. I don't see a lot of people other than Tabby and Lizzie who live with me. You know, I can go weeks or even a couple of months without seeing somebody else if I don't go to town with Tabby when she goes to town. So I totally get that.
I have better friends on social media than in real life.
I understand that too.
My mother said to me, "You can't have any friends on social media."
You can if you try.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of course you
since you
can.
mentioned Gina right out of the gate, did you meet Gina on TikTok or did you know her even before that?
I met her on TikTok a year or two ago. 2 years ago, I had seen some of her videos and I really related to them. I thought they were really great. She does acting and funny skits and dancing, and she does women, but she also does men, and not a lot of women do men as well as she
Right.
does. And I'm really into that actually too. And we're both straight, but we really love to do men. It's like funny. So I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, growing up, well, anyway. So then, we had followed each other, and she does chit chat with Gina.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
That was for Mr. Respectfully down there. I'll get to his question in a minute.
oh, okay. Hi. So, she asked to she said if I wanted to be interviewed. She does a different interviewing style. She does a game where she asks questions and she sends them to you. And then she does a question and answer with the audience, and there's points. And then you win a duet from either her or the interviewee. And it's kind of interesting and cool. But so I was interviewed by her, and then we
Thank you.
became really great friends after that. I started to realize we were best friends because we talk on the messenger audio 3 or 4 times a day.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But we've been really great friends. I went to San Antonio to visit her last year, and it was a blast. And we have the very similar, like I always say, she's an actress that's clowns, and I'm a clown that acts. It's
That
like
sounds reasonable.
slightly.
So I gotta ask. Obviously, the name DogfacedPearl. Anyone who's seen your content knows why you're named that. When did the Dogface Pearl? When did that become a thing? When did you start doing Dogface?
I should have told you. That's the only thing I don't want to talk about. No. I'm just kidding. It's brilliant. So I was on TikTok since 2020, and I started. I mean, I have another best friend named Niffer who's not really online much, and she was visiting me, and it was around the time of the pandemic, and she said, "Pearl, you should check out TikTok." And immediately I started doing this acting thing on camera where I was just like, and I started doing this thing where I would do all the characters of a TV show like Friends or like Seinfeld or whatever.
For the
And
Golden Girls, I've seen you do the Golden Girls several times.
Golden Girls. I've never even seen the show. I've only seen skits. That's weird. But the
Funny.
thing is, I don't know why, but one day I was standing there and I was trying to do Friends, and they started to blend. I mean, I look like Chandler, I look like Monica, I look like Ross, I don't know. And I was trying to figure out a way to distinguish them. And one day, I had this costume prop of a dog mouth from Halloween. And I went, I think Ross should have a dog mouth. Because sometimes he barks, sometimes he bites, and sometimes he wags his tail.
Right on.
And
if I can interrupt for a second, I want to welcome in your friend Gina.
Oh, hey, Gina. You just missed our heralding of you. So I put it on, and it was wild. It really was working out. So at first I thought, well, I don't know if I should be Dog-Faced Ross, if I should use it for any other characters except Dog-Faced Ross. And then I started doing it for other characters like Danny Zuko, Dean Martin. And then I made up a new character, Dog-Faced Andy, because I started wearing this white wig and people kept telling me it looked like Andy Warhol.
Right.
And suddenly, with so much support, it's my clown face.
Welcome in, Rob's. Good to see you, brother.
Oh, hey.
Now, when you started doing, I've heard it referred to as cosplay, because you wear, different costumes and such. When you first started that, was it just acting out stuff, or did you start lip syncing right away as well? Because I noticed you do quite a bit of lip syncing as well.
Yeah, I started lip syncing right away because that was that's kind of like my thing. It's all about the voice. I don't really like to do my own voice that much. On Clapper, I do my own verbal stuff, but generally it's my shtick is lip syncing. And I like to my shtick is also animation. Not animation like cartoons, but animating myself physically, which is a clown thing. Like if I dance, I usually do it at speed 2 because I like it to be really energized, But I have a really good time. I mean, then I started doing the dog face where I would figure out ways to put it. So all of Seinfeld are dog face except Elaine. On Friends, only Ross and his parents are dog faced. I mean, I was like starting to think of how does this, how can I make this work really cool as like my thing.
So, I mean, I know even when you're doing your sketch, you're lip syncing the words. But how do you decide what's worthy of being lip synced by you?
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of times if I think it's funny, also if it's an exciting challenge, or if I love lip syncing to really complicated dialogue. I like songs. I really like complicated. I said that right, but I like stand up where I can act it out because a lot of stand-up comedians just stand there. So my thing is to act it out so that it's different, you know. And I like stand-up comics because they talk really, really, really fast, and they have a lot to say, and they're very funny. And so sometimes I lip sync at speed 1 if it's a slow song or whatever, but usually I do speed 2 or 3, and that's my challenge, is doing it so it's not jerky or speedy.
Right.
Because even the skit I did today, where I did Karen, that's at like speed 2 or 3, but you can't really, I mean, I don't think you can tell it. I do it as smooth as I possibly can. But the thing is, you have more time to get the gestures out.
Right. So Paul wants to know, what inspires your videos the most? Are you inspired by the characters, by the content of what they're saying?
Yeah. I'm inspired by the humor and the characters. And some characters I don't like to do as much. Like I don't like to do Rachel from Friends as much, because it's not as interesting for me. But I have done her, but the other ones are more they're more animated. I can also work with how they look. But with the stand-up comedy, if there's a physical, I mean, with being a clown, if there's anything physical involved, I really love it. Like one time I did a stand-up comedy where it was Steve Carell was on The Daily Show eating Crisco fat.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm gonna do that. That sounds great. Because he went on the show and he said, now you see there, and he pointed out on the can that it said all vegetable. This is all the vegetables I need. And he ate a whole dollop of it. And
Wow.
yeah. And what was the Daily Show's guy? Oh, Jon Stewart said, you have to eat that. You can't eat ice cream. It's not going to be funny unless you actually eat Crisco. So
I couldn't do it.
yeah, it wasn't as bad as all that. I didn't actually swallow it.
Right. Welcome in, Ronan. Appreciate you being here, brother.
Oh, hey.
Let me ask you this, Pearl. You portrayed a lot of characters. You have more videos than I do, and I've been on here almost 5 years. What is your favorite character?
Most of them are from TikTok, actually.
Well, some of mine are as well. But what is your favorite character to portray when you're doing your skits?
Oh, wow.
Or do you have a favorite?
I like a lot. I like a bunch of them. I do like Ross. He is fun. He's flawed, but he's endearingly flawed. And I like Jimmy Carr. I like doing the Dracula. I started doing Dracula as a character where he's not just a Halloween thing. He's got more going on. So I would do Dracula in different skits where he's talking about his wife and he's talking about different things. I like doing the different I like doing different stand-up comics. I like doing B. Arthur. I like doing people that I can relate to. Like B. Arthur is a really good one.
Right.
What? Oh, and then I started doing The Odd Couple. That was a good one. It's hard to find good skits from them, but the other day I did one from the Password episode that they did, and I
Right.
realized that it was really fun to do Oscar and Felix.
Now, since B. Arthur is one of your favorite characters, I just want to throw this out there. Were you aware that B. Arthur served in the Marine Corps?
No, that's cool. And tomorrow's Memorial Day.
Right. You commented that it's about the quality or ability to make videos using Clapper. What app or program do you use to edit your videos?
Okay. I use CapCut. CapCut is the best. It's really amazing. It has too much stuff, but it's good because you can pick and choose whatever you want to use, and it works well with. You don't have to use TikTok first. You can also just film from your camera roll and stuff. TikTok is by far the holds the candle on lip syncing and synchronization of sound. So if that goes away, that's going to be really bad for me. But, I'll work it out, I guess. I'll do something.
I have confidence in you, Earl. Your content is pretty amazing. So I'm
thank
sure
you
you'll
so
figure
much.
it.
That's really nice of
If that
you.
becomes an issue, I'm sure you'll work it out or use it to your advantage.
Well, the nice thing is on Clapper, it's really there's you can do a lot with personal stuff and talking about different things. And now I'm on Waveful too. And Waveful, I can post stuff with watermarks, and I can post really old stuff from before, because that's one of the problems is most of my TikToks have watermarks, so I can't post a lot of them. I have to start over. But Wave is
Unless you can get one. Unless there are programs to remove a TikTok watermark, they just don't work. They're not foolproof. They don't always work.
Well, they don't work if it's already embedded. But anyway,
right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the synchronization is, but I have a lot of times when I pick something to do, sometimes it's because it just like makes me laugh really hard, and then even if it's silly or weird, I mean, I did one where it was like just sound effect. I call myself, among other things, a sound mime, because a mime goes really annoying. I think mimes are actually really annoying because they're just silent. But I mime sound.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there's like if there's a sound, I'll be like, and so I just love to do like crazy stuff. Like, I don't know if you ever saw those videos that were out for a while. Ginga 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 ginga.
I like that.
It was the craziest thing. It's like a song from a tribe or something.
Right. All right. Paul asked, besides your comedy skits, what other videos interest you?
Comedy skits? I love dance. I love classic. I love singing. I can't sing worth my ass to sit on. And I love singing. And I know
that was a question coming, by the way. I was going to ask you if you can sing.
Yeah, I'm really not. I mean, I have done some sort of singing recital with my own voice. I did a weird little song from my childhood about the dog with the longest name. And but it wasn't really singing, I don't have a voice like Song Parrot. I mean, if you don't have a voice like that, don't
There,
bother.
there's not a lot of people that have a voice like Ariel. Uh, Song
Amazing.
Parrot. She got a truly special voice. That's
Yeah, she
there's
really
no
is a
shame in that.
bird. It's amazing. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I love the way I look at it is I love to do everything else in the song. I love to perform it. I love to, and it's all about like how you can pull off. It's all about the voice. Like when I wear the pompadour hair, um, for Dog-Faced Ross, it's weird because I'll wear it for him and it's David Schwimmer's voice. And then I'll wear it for Jerry Seinfeld and it's Jerry Seinfeld's voice. And I look completely different because of the voice.
Well,
And,
yeah, that actually makes sense because your voice, the sound you hear helps give a mental image, and
yeah.
you marry that with what we see. Of course, it makes it look different.
Baby. But then it's like, Kramer, I just don't, and there's like,
Yeah.
it's weird how, like when I'm in Ross, because Ross is kind of a big guy. It's weird. David Schwimmer is he has this big sort of presence. And, Seinfeld is not big at all. But then it's weird because depending upon what you wear, like when I do Kramer, I wear a big great coat because that's kind of what he would do. He would wear like these big coats, and
Right.
I look a lot bigger when I do that. And then there's like Monica. I wear the same wig as Monica and Karen and Michael McIntyre.
Okay.
And it's
So-
funny.
Now I know that you are a part. I know you're a part of the Good Vibe Tribe. How did that come about?
Love the Good Vibe Tribe. It's the best. Well, it's interesting because Rock and Robin asked, they start Piggy Positivity. I think used to do that in many years ago. I think someone's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard. I heard that he did a Good Vibe Tribe rendition many years ago, and then he got together with Robin and everybody, and they decided to do it again as a group.
Right.
And Robin used to be on. She is kind of still, but she used to be on Duet Raiders. Duet Raiders is a thing on TikTok that Melissa SG, who's on here,
Yep.
every Monday for 5 years, they duet raid with like 30 people, a person on TikTok to boost them. And it's really amazing. And I started doing that after my interview with Gina. And we do like 2 duet raids, each person, and it's amazing. You surprise the person, but on here, Robin asked me and Gina to do it because we're duet raiders, and so we know about what's going on with that, and it's been really amazing. It's a little harder to do it on Clapper because you can't duet, and also because a lot of people, not everybody does acting like we do.
Right.
We act Holly, Terror, and Carrie. And okay, I'm saying people's names, and I suppose that's kind of bad, but I'm saying nice things. So, but we did Holly, a couple of people, and they did skits, and so it was a little easier. But what's cool about other people that I think, what I like about it is you have to think out of the box and you have to come up
Right.
with something interesting, or it just makes you think creatively, because every day I like to be creative. I like the challenge of coming up with something creative. And like when we did Robert, for instance, it was wild because I'm not very good at, it's so out of my comfort zone to talk about cancer and like all that. But
Right.
it was really cool to incorporate. I incorporated his special effects with this song, and I held your hand, and he had all these
Yeah.
like hands, and stuff. I don't know if he liked it, but
I'm sure he did, and I'm sure he appreciated it. He's a pretty good guy. He's been interviewed in the past by me, by the way.
oh,
Um,
nice.
Now, part of the reason I do these interviews is to present what I consider the best of Clapper to new creators, because I do encourage new creators to come and attend the interviews, and so I want to ask you some Clapper specific questions, if that's all right with you.
Okay.
So first one, you've been on Clapper. You just said you just went over a year on Clapper, so you're well familiar with Clapper glitches. Which one frustrates you the most, and why?
Oh, well, okay. One thing is the clapbacks just don't work a lot of times. And the other thing is, well, I'm going to be truthful, they don't really fix stuff.
Nope, they don't. That's
They
true.
they spend a lot of time they spend a lot of time talking about like holidays and really special like fun stuff. And meanwhile, but the thing is, I also think I wish that duets. I kind of think it's frustrating that duets don't get pushed, because duets are a community thing.
Right.
I mean, hello. But also, I mean, I get the watermark thing. I get why that is not cool. But, everything else should be a go. I mean, I don't know, you know. And I also get, but they always talk about stolen content, but then they keep they keep letting it happen. So I don't know.
Not only are they letting it happen, but there are people that pretty much only use stolen content that end up getting blue check verified.
Yeah. That's
So,
another thing
yeah.
about, I think is weird, is if you want to get a blue check, they have these rules. I decided I don't really care about it, and I'm gonna wait until, I mean, maybe I'll try at my 50,000, because right now, because that is a frustrating thing, because if unless you have, I've been on here a year, and I still, my average is still only 1,000. Like I don't have anything that's more than, I mean, I have a few things that are more than, 3,000, 5,000, but not really
Right.
enough. And they want you to do the average over 30 videos, 30 days.
And a minimum 10 videos.
And it's like, I'm sorry, that's too many videos. You're not going to make it. You're not going to get the average.
I eventually got my average up, but I was over 120,000 followers before I had the average views that they wanted.
It's
so
ridiculous.
Yeah, I do get the frustration. I also get why there are a lot of people who just don't give a damn about the blue check, and I understand that too.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, what is your favorite thing about Clapper?
Well, I really love the real people community. I love all, how everyone was so welcoming, and we all became friends. And
Yeah.
it's just really great. That's the best part about Clapper. It's the
Welcome in,
community.
Sissy. Good to see you. I agree. I love the community aspect of it.
Hey.
You can really make connections with people and actually get a good solid friendship going. I do like that. There are issues that um, that's kind of it's kind of normal to social media in general, but you know, that aside, the Clapper is a much easier place to make friends than say TikTok or many of the other social media apps that I've been on.
I mean,
Two
I
part question.
have.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. What? Go.
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I do have good friends on TikTok, but the other thing is TikTok keeps changing the algorithm. And so a lot of times you never see your friend's stuff. Like, what is up with that TikTok? I haven't seen my friend's stuff. And like a couple of people, I thought they died. I mean, it had been so long since I'd seen them, you know? I mean, anyway.
Right. All right. Now you mentioned the Mad Hatter's Quest. Um, Specifically to that, did you participate, and do you generally participate in Clapper sponsored events?
Well, I participated in the Mad Hatter Quest, but I stopped after a couple of times because they didn't acknowledge what I'd done after a couple of them. So
Right.
it's like, but I don't generally, I mean, Copper's probably listening and going, but that's okay. I don't generally I participate in the communities, my personal friends things.
Right.
I don't really participate in the Clapper ones.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
I think the only thing Clapper sponsored that I participated in 4.5 years was the Mad Hatter's Quest.
yeah.
So I get that. Now I do have a two-part question. The first part of it, who on Clapper inspires you,
A lot
if
of
any?
people. Um a lot of people actually. But it's hard to choose. I'm really inspired by people who just do what they do. You know, like I really like what you do, Tank, and I really like who you are and stuff. And I really like Steve Lufk, and I like Uncle Timmy, Corinne. I mean, there's a lot of people, like Robin, um, and then Amy, a lot of everybody.
You are right. There's a lot of really amazing,
Well,
inspirational
it's difficult
inspirational
because
people on Clapper.
yeah, it's difficult because I mean, like Angel. I mean, wow. I mean, um, people who are on here and struggling, but just being themselves, like you know, Fluid Heart and like you know, Phil and I mean, a lot of people. It's just who like them being them. I mean, it's great and being really supportive and I don't know. I think it's Robert, what he went through. I
Right.
hope he's okay, actually. But and then there's a lot of people that I mean, I'm not even religious, but I really love Faith Rising Band. I mean, it's like what they do. Like how they pull people out, and
Right.
even if you know.
They-
Um,
Yeah, they're very supportive, very amazing. They're good. I think they're really good for the app. And you don't
yeah,
have to
yeah,
be particularly religious to appreciate them.
right, exactly. And I'm spirit. I mean, I have my own spirit, but it's like, I mean, it's like I just really love the outpouring of support for what I do on here. People, it just made me feel like, wow, this is really great. I mean, all the all the s- the encouragement and support that I got. I mean, on TikTok, I had a animation friend from Ireland that was
Mhm.
really into what I did with my dog mouth, and he was really supportive. And then on Instagram, I have a clown teacher 30 years ago. I took a workshop on clowning, and this guy is like, he's a really amazing clown, and he saw my stuff and was like really into it. So it's
That's
just
awesome.
yeah, it's just really amazing what happens online, because when I leave online, my family is just like, why are you doing that?
I do get that. The other half of that question is who outside of Clapper inspires you?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, actually, that clown friend.
Right on.
Um, his name is Jonathan Taylor. He's called Daredevil Chicken, and his wife is Bird of Play. And they've been on the Gone Show. And they do this thing with bananas where they spew bananas into each other's mouth from across the room. And they also do a husband and wife sort of like I Love Lucy sort of act. And they're
Right.
just really amazing. And but also he's kind of like my you had to have like a rod that you follow, like not really, like
Right.
he's like a clown Jesus, like I well, because I didn't, when I was taking the workshops with him, I didn't really do anything about it afterwards. I moved on. I didn't want to do clowning on the street. I didn't really want to do anything like that. And then, but I kept thinking about who he was and what he did. And he does kind of like, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
He's like Daffy Duck clown,
Right.
you know? And that's hello. So I kept having him in my back of my mind. And then I started doing stuff on TikTok, and and he saw my stuff and he said, "This is your calling." So it's cool.
That had to be encouraging to you.
Yeah, it was great.
So Paul wants to know, what advice would you give to new creators just starting their way on Clapper?
Deliver it all. Go for it.
Right
Do
on.
do what you do. Also, guess what I mean by that is like, whatever it is that you are into, bring it.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And but also don't just think of yourself, engage. Go, I mean, I had a friend that I wanted to invite, and I'm not going to say names, she's from the outside. And her reaction to the engagement thing made me go, okay, forget it, don't even come. Because she was like, well, what is the point of going and looking at their stuff? I was like, what? I thought that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's, you know, uh, first of all, there's a lot of very well done videos. A lot of you can tell people put a lot of thought into the things they do, and the effort. Like that's one of the reasons I love your content so much. It's obvious there's effort there. There's thought beforehand. Plus, it's a lot of times it's really funny. Sometimes it's just entertaining, like when you lip sync songs. It's so.
But even
everybody,
if it isn't like that, like there's a lot of people on here that they do affirmations. It like so
right,
it's like something for positivity, or like they do self portraits and they use effects, and that's
right.
valid too.
There's something for everybody. I think that was the point I was getting to.
Right. Oh,
And
sorry. Yeah.
I tell people, if it's something you're into, you're going to find a group for that on here. You're going to find your people and somebody that'll relate to you. And if you make the content based on what gets your blood pumping, so to speak, there's going to be people that'll react to that because it's also what they're into. And I like that. Um, I kind of know the answer. I kind of know this answer, but I'm going to ask. You have a family. You're married, right?
Yes, I'm married. My husband is really supportive of what I do. He doesn't. We met acting, actually. It's funny. He used to do a little bit of acting. He's a book artist. He makes and he hand binds and hand paints books, and he
That's cool.
paints. Yeah, he's a gardener. He's kind of a triple threat. He does cooking. He's a chef. He's a native plant um collector
Right.
list, and he's just really great. He's really great. We've been married for 20 years. We've been together for 25, and I don't have children. When we met, it was too late. So, but I'm cool with that because I like doing my thing and not. But I'm a great aunt to a lot of people in my family. I'm like Auntie Pearl. I like
It's
that.
it's got to really be helpful to you, though, to know that your husband does support you doing what you do and encourages you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. In the beginning, I mean, we used to do acting. We were in a couple of little homemade movies. The first movie was on Burning Man, and we on Burning Man, our group was called Dismal, and it was about Dismal, Nevada. And we would say to people, we would all be in ghost town negligees, and we would be like, if you want to come in here and get some cholera. We would do that to all the like ravers. And we would do hippie fishing, where we would like throw the glow stick out on a string, and then the raver would come to get it, and then we would be like, whoop, sorry. It was hilarious. But and one year, this was funny. One year we were doing this movie, and so there were a bunch of us girls, like me and 2 or 3 other girls in the group. We're all like pretty whores from the bar, from the saloon. And
Right.
one would come and Fred would go, nope, too nice. And the other one would come and, nope, too pretty. And then I would come and I'd be like, like that. And you'd be like, and I think I threw up on him as part of the joke. And he was like, yeah. And then he handed me some money.
If I could, Pearl, I'd like to take a minute and announce that next week my interview guest will be Ms. Tracy.
Oh, wow.
If you're not familiar with her, she does dot painting. Go to check her content out and give a look at what she does. I'm sure she'll have a few examples of what she does when I interview her, but I wanted to announce that. Now, Paul asked if you could give your younger self advice, what would it be?
Um, okay. Don't listen to the all.
The naysayers, maybe?
Yeah. Don't listen. I was teased a lot when I was little, when I was younger, and don't listen. But
Right.
also, you're gonna turn out good in the later. But I wish I had started earlier. Like I'm like 60 and I'm only just started,
No way. No way you're 60 years old.
Well, the thing is it's all for a reason, because um now I have a lot of gumption that,
Right.
I didn't have before, but I have a little bit of, it sounds weird, but I have some troubles with my mom and me and my brother. They're they're hard to deal with. And I wish that I had been like, you know what? Doesn't really matter what you say. But it was
I do.
difficult.
I get that. And that's hard with family. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, you know what, you can think what you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, like, I'm not going to talk about it all day, but it was interesting this one little moment when I was visiting, because my mom has good moments, but she thinks I should read a book, and I have to pretend I read books because I used to read books all the time, but I don't. It's hard to have time to read them, and you go through stages where you read books and then you don't read books. That's
right.
like I do puzzles instead right now. But the thing is, when I was visiting, my mom and my brother do not understand about television and movies. I think my brother, he's colorblind, and I think that might have a little bit to do with it. It's very hard to see, you know.
Right.
But one time we were having dinner and they had this friend over, and they were talking and they were all talking, and I couldn't get any word in edgewise. It was like I would speak and they would go, "Yes, anyway, we're not talking about that right now." And this was one of those things where I'd be like, okay, like that. And it kept happening. So then at the end, as she was leaving, I showed her my stream of stuff because I wanted her to see, well, hi, I'm the entertainer of the family. And I
Right.
showed her, do you watch Friends? Do you like this? Do you like humor? And my brother came in and he said, I wouldn't have shown her that stuff. It was so weird. I was like, okay. She thought it was funny. Next.
Right.
Anyway. But we all have this. All that's what's cool about Clapper is, and social media, is everybody who's on social media and especially on Clapper has family or some sort of situation where you can't express yourself with them. So here
Right.
we are. We all love to hang out and express ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one thing about being on Clapper, you meet people from a lot of very interesting places. I've got friends in Australia, friends in the UK. Have you ever been outside of the country?
I have. I've been to Venice and Vienna, and I've been to England. I haven't been to Australia, but I have been to Polynesia.
Nice.
Yeah. I went on a cruise with my dad and we went there. It was to all the islands. It was wild.
I bet you had a blast. That sounded like a lot of fun.
It was crazy because I was on a cruise with my dad for 30 days. That was that was the only thing. But it was really nice though.
Yeah,
And Venice was my favorite place.
I would like to mention it just because it's going to happen in October of this year. Paul, which is Fear the Reaper, my screen recorder, will be in the States for a wedding of a mutual friend that I'm part of the wedding. I'm one of the groomsmen. So I'll get to meet Paul for the first time because he's coming to the States for that.
Oh wow. Where's he from, Paul?
He lives in the UK.
Oh nice. Neat. I love
And
England.
I've met, and I don't know if you know Gangster Granny. She's from Scotland. She's actually
I love her.
she's getting married June 7th. She's in the States right now. I met her when Vamp and Dan got married in October last year in Ohio. Have you met a lot of Clapper creators in person, or have you met any?
I haven't met any. I've the only person I've met outside is Gina. And that was a blast. We almost met Etta, but something came up and we couldn't. She's from Texas as well. I've talked with Gangster Granny because I was telling her that my grandmother is Scottish. She's from Edinburgh. And I never went to visit her, but she came to America when she married my grandfather. And, you know, it's cool. Yeah, Venice was my favorite place to go. I love that.
Right.
But I went to Vienna as well.
I don't know if you know, I lived in Italy for 2 years during my Navy days.
Oh, neat. Where?
Yeah, it was cool. Gaeta, Italy, which is almost halfway between Rome and Naples.
Oh, that's neat.
Obviously, I've been to Rome and to Naples. I took a train trip the train left at Formia, which is the next town over from Gaeta. I made it as far as Geneva, Switzerland. I made the mistake. I was a young sailor, so every time the train stopped, I would get off, find a local pub and drink, then catch the next train out. Well, by the time I got to Geneva, Switzerland, I had enough money to get home, to get back to the ship and all that. So I didn't go any further. Our goal was to get all the way to England. Obviously, at some point, you got to cross the English Channel, but we were going to deal with that when we got there. Of course, I ran out of money because I stopped every stop and drank. But I did make it to Geneva, Switzerland, which is a beautiful city. And taking a train through the pretty amazing.
Yeah. I've never been. I've been to Vienna, Switzerland. No, sorry, Vienna, Austria. That was a gaffe. But I went because I used to do photography. I don't do it as much because during the pandemic, it was very difficult. I used to take pictures with real cameras up until the pandemic. And then it got really difficult to run around and take pictures and get them developed. So I stopped. And then I switched careers and I decided to do acting and clowning instead. I still love photography, but it's not as important. So, but I was doing, for 10 years or more, I was doing camera stuff and Lomo, like lomography.
Yeah,
You've heard of it?
I've heard of it, but couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah, lomography is from the Russian film camera, the Lomo automatic camera. It's like photos, and it started this company, this movement called lomography. And they would make funny cameras that were easy to use, that were really fun, that would use real film. And I joined this wave. And one year I bought a camera on Kickstarter, and one of the things was you could pay extra and you could go to Austria and go to the headquarters. And you could meet all the people that made the cameras and, all that. And it was really fun to go to Austria. And Fred had never been outside of the country before. But my main thing was going to Venice. I was really into it. Neither Fred nor I drive.
That's different.
Yeah. I've never learned how to drive. Fred has learned how to drive. He just doesn't like to. He drives a scooter, but and I've never driven because I've always lived in cities and so Venice, there's no cars.
Right.
It's incredible. It's kind of like Burning Man. You have a siesta, you put on your best outfit, you walk around. Oh, look at this restaurant. This is amazing.
Now, if I could, believe it or not, Pearl, it's been an hour.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you're a very interesting person, so it's easy for the time to just fly by.
I really appreciate that. I thought it would be really boring.
Before I close it out, I want to give you the opportunity to do a shout out. And the subject of the shout out is entirely up to you, but the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to I'm going to do a shout out to my group because my group is full of all my friends. And so I want to do a shout out to Dogface Club and everybody that is in it. All P Mason and D Vlogs, Diana and everybody that has joined there. I really appreciate all that you've done and all the people that are part of it. And I want to I'll do a quick shout out to my supporter tier and Angel and Robin and you, BigTank, and Diana and Jules and Uncle Timmy.
Pretty amazing people, Pearl.
Oh my God, they're all so great. And then I have a bunch of people that I support too, but they're really great as well. So.
All right. I appreciate you taking the time.
What?
It's been an hour, went by so fast, but you are truly a fascinating person. I'm glad I met you and that I know you. Folks, if you don't know
you too, Tank.
If you don't know Pearl, go check her content out. It's really amazing, the stuff she does. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I can do it. It's all I've got to do my 2 to 5 second little bits that I send to Uncle Timmy for Team Positive Waves. So, and that's fun for me. But No,
I love it. I mean, I do a video every day. It's so
Pearl,
fun.
You're an inspiration. You inspire me to try to find my more creative side.
Oh, wow, that's great.
I want to say that. In the meantime, guys, give Pearl's content a look. If you don't follow her, believe me, follow her. You won't regret it. She's an amazing person. And tune in next week when I will be interviewing Ms. Tracy. And with that, you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, thank you, Pearl.
Thank you.